We tend to look at rapid physical decline as a matter of bad luck or rare pathology. But looking at the actual drivers of aging, we find everyday behaviors, things so common they are almost invisible until the damage shows up. Longevity researchers studying the oldest and healthiest populations on Earth consistently find that genetics only explain a small portion of the outcome. Daily habits account for far more of the variation in how we age than our family history does. These mundane habits don't cause immediate pain. Instead, they trigger a slow, quiet decay that compounds in the background of our biology, year after year. This chart plots biological damage over time. These micro-increments represent daily choices accumulating for decades. The debt is real. Eventually, the line crosses the threshold of clinical symptoms. The decline feels sudden, but this underlying failure has been building for half a lifetime. Slowing this process requires an audit of our body's 4 main maintenance systems to expose the defaults that are currently breaking them. One system in particular is rarely discussed, yet it dictates whether the others can function at all. The first system is structural integrity. This is compromised when we treat movement, specifically strength training, as an optional activity rather than a biological requirement. Starting in our 30s, the body naturally sheds muscle mass if it isn't given a reason to keep it. This isn't a cosmetic loss, it's a loss of functional tissue. Muscle is what keeps us independent. It's what allows a person to carry groceries, get up off the floor, or catch their balance during a trip. The gradual loss of this tissue is the primary driver of the frailty we associate with old age. Maintaining this system requires consistency over intensity. 2 or 3 short strength sessions a week, paired with a daily walk, provides the signal the body needs to retain its structural mass. The second system is cellular recovery. This system breaks down when a sleep schedule is treated as a flexible resource that can be cut to make room for a busy day. During deep sleep, the brain undergoes a physical cleaning process. As these structures contract, fluid flushes through the space between them to clear out metabolic waste that accumulated while you were awake. Sleep is also the only window the body has for muscular repair, hormonal recalibration, and immune system resets. Shortchanging this window stops these processes mid-cycle. Stability is the fix. Going to bed and waking up at the same time, even on weekends, keeps the internal body clock stable, ensuring these recovery cycles can complete. When we neglect strength and sleep, we aren't just feeling tired, we are actively pausing our body's ability to repair itself at a cellular level. Next is the fuel system. This system is degraded when ultra-processed convenience foods become the default dietary pattern instead of an occasional exception. The damage is driven by chronic, low-grade inflammation. Diets high in refined oils, excess sugar, and preservatives keep the body in a constant state of internal stress. As the flowchart shows, this sustained inflammation branches out into nearly every age-related condition, from joint decay to cognitive decline. It is the common thread connecting these seemingly unrelated issues. Flipping the default to whole foods, vegetables, proteins, and healthy fats drops this inflammatory load. This approach relies on the quality of the inputs rather than rigid calorie counting. The fourth maintenance system involves diagnostics. The habit here is operating without knowing your basic biological numbers, your blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol. These metrics typically shift silently. Pressure and elevated blood sugar rarely produce outward physical symptoms until they have already caused significant damage. By the time you feel something is wrong, the condition has often had years to develop unchecked. Knowing these numbers early allows for simple lifestyle adjustments. Ignoring them allows silent conditions to develop into major medical events. Operating without diagnostics doesn't delay the bad news. It guarantees that by the time a problem is obvious, the damage has already been done. The longevity industry is currently a $1 trillion market, selling complex supplements and expensive subscriptions. Yet the biological data points back to the same basic inputs. Stripping away the marketing reveals 4 specific inputs: movement, sleep, whole foods, and diagnostics.
These are the levers that actually determine how we age. Success in these systems isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. Correcting these 4 biological defaults is completely free, requires no radical lifestyle overhaul, and it can begin immediately. The way you age is a direct reflection of your daily maintenance. The best time to address the invisible damage and fix your biological defaults is today. Extending your health span into your 80s and 90s doesn't require flawless, exhausting fitness regimens. Instead, long-term cognitive and physical longevity is built through tiny, consistent actions executed over decades. The biggest threat to that consistency is the all-or-nothing trap. People frequently believe that if they miss a single workout or eat one unhealthy meal, their entire week is ruined. They fall off their routine for a single day, and then they completely quit. To outsmart that perfectionism, we are going to build a custom micro-habit tracker designed specifically for physical and cognitive longevity. Grab a Blink notebook or open a tracking app on your phone right now. By following along, you will leave this video with a real-world, foolproof system to actively protect your health span. On your screen is a clean tracking grid layout. Draw a similar grid in your notebook, placing the days of the week across the top and leaving 3 blank rows down the side. We are going to fill these rows with 3 specific, low-friction daily actions. For the top row, write down Habit 1, 2-minute movement per hour. Even if you exercise for 30 minutes a day, sitting for 6 or 8 hours straight causes separate problems for your circulation and blood sugar. Standing up and moving for just 2 minutes every hour offsets those risks. In the second row, write down Habit 2, weekly reach out. Chronic social isolation carries measurable health risks that researchers actually compare to smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Reaching out to one friend weekly directly combats that isolation. For the third row, write down Habit 3, 5-minute novelty. Doing something completely unfamiliar, like trying a new strategy game or learning a few words of a language, forces your brain to build new neural connections. Familiar routines, no matter how enjoyable, do not replicate this effect. Keep these actions exactly as written. Do not try to scale them up into 30-minute language lessons or exhausting full-scale workouts. Selecting habits that take only a few minutes is your primary defense against the overwhelm that typically derails long-term health resolutions. Because these actions are small, they won't announce themselves when you forget them. If left to chance, they will slowly fade behind whatever feels urgent that day. They require strict scheduling. To lock these in, pick up your phone or smartwatch right now and set an hourly recurring alarm specifically for your 2-minute movement break. Next, look at this calendar interface, showing a blocked-out appointment. Create a mandatory calendar block just like this for your social reach-out, explicitly titling it and treating it with the exact same respect you would give a doctor's appointment. By offloading the decision-making process to automated alarms and blocked calendars, you protect these longevity habits from being pushed aside by your busy schedule. Now we need to address symptom tracking. A major risk to your physical longevity is noticing a persistent ache or a new fatigue and choosing to ignore it in the hope that it will simply resolve on its own. To counter that, look at the bottom of the tracker on your screen, where we've added a new section labeled Symptoms Log. You will add this section to your own tracker, governed by a strict if-then rule. If you notice a symptom, then you write down the date and the issue. The exact moment you notice an ache that has lingered for a few weeks, or change you haven't mentioned to anyone, you must immediately log it in this section along with the current date. Most conditions that become serious start small. This logging mechanism bridges the dangerous gap between noticing a problem and actually mentioning it to a doctor at your next appointment, stopping treatable issues in their tracks. Eventually, you are going to have a busy day and miss one of these habits. That is the critical moment where people risk falling into a guilt spiral. To prevent that, you need to shift your tracking goal. You are no longer trying to maintain a perfect streak. Your only metric for success is rapid recovery. Look closely at the habit grid here. When you miss a day, you must intentionally and without judgment mark a bold red X on your tracker for that day. This brings us to the single overriding rule of the system. Once that red X is placed, your only goal for the entire week is to ensure the very next box is a green checkmark. Never miss twice. Long-term studies on habit formation show that missing a single day is statistically harmless to your progress. Missing 2 days in a row is what actually starts a new negative pattern. Embracing this bounce-back protocol insulates you from perfectionism. It turns a moment of failure into a simple mechanical trigger to get back on track the next morning. Look at the completed tracker in front of you. You now possess a concrete physical system built specifically for your longevity. This custom setup successfully hits the vital pillars of your health: circulatory movement, social connection, and cognitive novelty, without demanding flawless execution. Slipping up is expected and completely normal. Tracking your consistency ensures you drop the guilt and simply check the next box tomorrow. Prove that the system works right now. Start your very first 2-minute movement timer, stand up, and earn your first checkmark today.
Welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled for today's explainer because we are finally putting the very last piece into this massive longevity puzzle. If you've been with us, you know we've been systematically tearing down these sneaky little habits that quietly steal our health as we age. Well, today's the day we bring the whole shebang together. We're going to show you exactly how to fix them. Let's jump right in. So, I need you to be brutally honest with yourself for a second. Are you living in a constant state of low-grade stress? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that incredibly relatable modern-day problem where your brain and your body literally never fully switch off. It's kind of like a background app, quietly draining your battery. Almost everybody deals with it, but man, very few folks actually realize just how much it's costing them on a biological level. Okay, let's dive into this. Mistake number 10. Never actually resting. Now, to be crystal clear here, we aren't necessarily talking about some massive, dramatic burnout where you just hit a wall and collapse. No, we're talking about going through your daily life without a real, reliable recovery outlet. Our sources describe this perfectly as a baseline hum of stress. It's that low-level tension that just kind of sits with you day after day, year after year. And the reason this is so deeply corrosive over time, it's because it keeps your body's stress hormones, we're talking cortisol and adrenaline here, way higher than they were ever designed to be. Look, a little occasional stress, totally normal. Actually, it's pretty useful for getting things done. But chronic, unmanaged stress, that puts your sympathetic nervous system into permanent overdrive, and that actively stops your cells from repairing themselves. Now, what's really interesting, and honestly a bit alarming about this, is the compounding damage. When that stress just stays elevated, it hits fast forward on aging across multiple biological systems. Over the years, this chronic hum completely ravages your sleep architecture. It literally blocks you from hitting those deep, restorative sleep phases your brain desperately needs to sweep out the daily junk. It also drives up systemic inflammation, what researchers actually call inflammaging, which is tied to practically every chronic disease out there. It tanks your cognitive function. But here is the real kicker, that last point on the list. Constant stress compounds absolutely every other mistake we've talked about. Trying to fix your diet or exercise while running on fumes, it's like trying to swim upstream with a backpack full of rocks. It's the ultimate roadblock. Let's just slow down for a second and take a collective breath here. The goal isn't to somehow eliminate all stress. Come on, that's literally impossible for anyone watching this. The real goal is building a genuine daily off switch to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. Listen, fake rest is doom scrolling your phone for half an hour. It might feel like you're chilling, but aggressively scrolling social media actually spikes your heart rate and feeds your brain this chaotic drip of dopamine and anxiety. A real break, that's taking a few minutes for deep breathing. It's getting outside. It's a short walk leaving your phone on the desk, or just getting lost in an absorbing hobby. The exact activity doesn't matter nearly as much as the fact that it is a real intentional pause. You gotta use it every single day, not just when you're already burned out. All right, so let's step back. Here's the full picture. All 10 mistakes summarized. Let's run through the whole list real quick. 1. Treating exercise as optional. 2. Treating sleep as flexible. 3. Letting ultra-processed food become your default. 4. Total ignorance of your own health numbers. 5. Letting those close relationships quietly fade. 6. Unbroken sitting for hours on end. 7. That brutal all-or-nothing mindset. 8. Not learning anything genuinely new. 9. Ignoring symptoms and just hoping they vanish. And 10. Living in that constant low-grade stress with absolutely zero real recovery. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. So what does this all mean? How on earth do you fix all 10? If you're sitting there feeling a slight wave of panic, maybe a little overwhelmed, looking at this massive mountain of changes, hey, that is completely understandable. It is a lot. So the crucial point here is that you need to prioritize for maximum impact. And this brilliantly illustrates the big takeaway from our sources. You absolutely do not need to fix all 10 of these this week. Actually, scratch that. Trying to fix all 10 right now? That's just mistake number 7, the all-or-nothing trap wearing a disguise. It's a guaranteed setup for failure. Look at the behavioral psychology. If you try to change just one habit, your chances of success sit right around 80%. But try changing 3 or more at once? That success rate literally plummets to near 0. No way. Instead, I want you to use this playbook. Step 1, pick the one single mistake that hit you the hardest while watching this explainer. Step 2, fix that one first. Channel every ounce of your energy right there. Step 3, let it become automatic. Get it locked in. And only then, step 4, come back to this list and pick your next target. Singular focus is your absolute superpower here, one step at a time. Now, if you're looking for the deeper dive into everything we've covered today, the full 6-pillar framework that these 10 mistakes connect back to, complete with the planners and trackers to knock them out one by one, that is all built right into the Longevity Blueprint. You'll find it linked down below if you want the complete system to guide you. And hey, if you found this explainer helpful, definitely hit subscribe. We are breaking down one pillar of healthy aging at a time every single week. No weird fads, no shady supplement pitches, just solid, structured information on what actually works for your body. So pull up that list in your mind's eye for a second. Which of these 10 mistakes are you going to conquer today? Seriously, don't try to boil the ocean here. Just pick one. Start right there, take action, and I'll see you in the next explainer.